What if I told you that a tiny island from the Atlantic with a population smaller than the city of Malaga and almost zero football infrastructure made it to the World Cup round of 32? But not only did they make it to the knockout rounds, they also pulled off a miracle that made the entire world believe in fairy tales again, with a squad of flops and a 40-year-old goalkeeper playing for his life. This is the story of Cape Verde and how they went from unknowns to the most incredible underdogs in this World Cup. But for you to understand how they got here, we first have to look at how they selected their squad. And to get a good team, Cape Verde had to actually look outside its borders. Their association had to scout players of Cape Verdean descent but who were born in Europe or other continents. That way, they would find footballers who played at the highest level and had the best training facilities, but who could also legally represent Cape Verde. So, from 26 players brought to the World Cup, 15 were born outside of the country, in cities like Paris, Rotterdam or Lisbon. And once they had that sorted out, Cape Verde also needed a brilliant manager to lead them forward. And the man for the job was Pedro Leitao Brito, an ex-centre-back who even captained Cape Verde's national team while also playing in Spain's second division, Angola and Portugal. In 2020, when Bubista was appointed as Cape Verde's manager, he brought a philosophy of courage to his team, and while other small nations who had small chances of winning games parked the bus and prayed, Bubista wanted his team to defend in an organized way, but to also punish the opposition through transitions. And his tactics worked perfectly, as he even received the title of 2025 African Coach of the Year for his performances in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. But I mentioned a point earlier way too important to ignore. The fact that 15 players from Cape Verde's 26-man squad were not even born in Cape Verde. I mean, there are more players on the Cape Verde squad born in Rotterdam, 6, than in Cape Verde's capital city of Praia, 4. And while this brings experience, it also creates a problem. A squad filled with players of dual nationality can lead to lack of chemistry and lack of national pride. After all, why should a defender born in Ireland even care about Cape Verde? Also, on top of that, many players might choose to speak in their native language, whether it's French, Dutch or Portuguese. So Bubista solved this problem by making Cape Verdean Creola, Crioulo, the only language used in the dressing room and team meetings. Also, their veteran players helped others feel more connected to the team and willing to fight. Their captain, Ryan Mendes, is the leader of the squad and always treated the national team like religion. And Vozinha, a name you surely heard recently. A 40-year-old goalkeeper who always dreamed of playing for his national team and inspires everyone with his performances. Okay, now that we talked about the fundamental part of this team, let's see how their journey to the 2026 World Cup started. When Cape Verde CAF Group D qualifiers was announced, everyone thought they would finish at the bottom, or that they had no chance of qualifying. After all, they were going to play against Cameroon, Libya, Angola, Mauritius and Eswatini, and Cape Verde's campaign started horribly. They drew 0-0 at home against Angola and then got destroyed 4-1 by Cameroon. Halfway through their campaign, they even failed to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The World Cup was out of discussion for them, but all of a sudden Cape Verde started getting momentum, and trusting their manager in the end paid off. After the loss against Cameroon, they went on to win 5 consecutive matches in the qualifiers, which included a 1-0 win against Cameroon, the best team in that group. And going into their final match day, they had to beat Eswatini and hope Cameroon dropped points in order for them to finish first and qualify directly to the World Cup. And the impossible happened. Dylon Livramento, who was born in Rotterdam, and Willy Semedo, born near Paris, scored 2 goals just after half-time, with Stopira adding 1 more to secure the 3-0 win. After the match ended, somehow Cameroon drew 0-0 against Angola. Cape Verde won the group with 23 points, points, which meant that they were officially going to the World Cup, becoming the second smallest nation by land to ever qualify to the World Cup. But going to the biggest tournament ever creates a lot of pressure, especially for Cape Verde, who qualified for the first time in their history to the World Cup. This surely affected the mental health of their players. However, part of their success at this World Cup boils down to overcoming those issues. And speaking of overcoming mental health issues, today's sponsor is BetterHelp. As someone who plays football regularly, I've had times when I felt pressure so bad that it led to me not being able to do simple things I would otherwise do with no problem. I'm talking about a simple pass in front of me or a long shot. Over time, this also led to self-doubt, fear, and sadness, because I couldn't recognize myself anymore, even though I was playing the sport I love most. I had to overcome this alone, but therapy would have helped me a lot, because someone identifying your issues and causes already solves 90% of the problem. Personally, I always look for answers and patterns. It's just the way I am, and it makes me fulfilled. But with the help of a therapist, I would have learned this way earlier, without going through hardship or confusion. And that would have solved my issues with football way earlier. So our partner for today, BetterHelp, can surely help you face and solve mental health problems by finding the best suited therapist for you. Also, therapy can help you understand yourself better, see the root of the issue, and of course, solve it faster. The best way for that to happen is with the help of someone. And BetterHelp, the sponsor of today's video, makes starting therapy way easier. You just take a quiz and get matched with a licensed therapist quickly. What I really like is that you can communicate however you feel most comfortable, by phone, video, or text. And if your therapist isn't the best fit for you, you can easily switch anytime at no extra cost. Click the first link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/BarcaLegion so you get 10% off your first month of therapy with our partners BetterHelp. Therapy can have a really big impact on your life and bring a positive change to your routine. Alright, now let's get back to the video. When everybody saw Cape Verde qualifying to the World Cup, they doubted them. But here is the best part about this small island in the Atlantic. They made them believe, a thing which we will encounter many times during this video, making their doubters believe. But Cape Verde's incredible story is far from over at this point, and for many small nations, qualifying to the biggest ever tournament would be enough, but not for these guys. When their World Cup group was announced, nobody gave them a chance of even drawing a game, let alone qualify from their group. Group H, with Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and of course, the tiny nation of Cape Verde. There is no way anyone thought they were making it out. The actual impression was that Cape Verde are going to be a good warm-up for the big teams. However, what happened next, nobody ever predicted. Like I said in the beginning, this nation made everyone believe that everything is possible. June 15th, Atlanta. Cape Verde were going to make their World Cup debut, and they found themselves in a nightmare scenario, as the team they were going to face was Spain, a nation known for its incredible footballing ability and total domination. Nobody forgot the 2010 World Cup or the 2012 Euros, in which Spain absolutely destroyed everyone. However, Cape Verde were not going to crumble under pressure, and instead of going out scared, they knew what they had to do. Park the bus, but do it without fear. And instead of everyone seeing the expected result, Cape Verde held Spain, who are among the World Cup favorites, to a goalless draw. But this isn't even the best part of the story, as the main reason why Cape Verde were able to win a point was their 40-year-old goalkeeper Vozinha. Before the World Cup, nobody even knew who he was. He was playing in Portugal's second division. He only had a few thousand followers on Instagram before his match against Spain started. But during the game, he did something apparently impossible. Spain had 27 shots against Cape Verde, yet none ended in a goal. But even more incredibly, Vozinha recorded 7 saves, the second most by a goalkeeper aged 40 or older in a World Cup match. He became a star overnight, and he went from 15k followers to 17 million followers on Instagram in a few days. Vozinha was a free agent legend when he had the legendary match against Spain. This World Cup was the last hope for him and his career. A last chance to prove that he is good enough, and the miracle happened. But it was also only the beginning for Cape Verde. The next match for the Blue Sharks was against Uruguay, a side who were on paper better and desperate to win and qualify. This was the game where Cape Verde could prove to the world that their draw against Spain wasn't just a lucky one-off, and in the 21st minute they did prove it, as Kevin Pina scored for Cape Verde, which was their first ever goal in the World Cup. And what a goal it was! Direct free kick, long distance away from goal, and bang! But 23 minutes later, Maximiliano Araujo equalizes for Uruguay, and just at the end of the first half, Agustin Canobi also scores, and now it's 2-1 for Uruguay. There is no way they aren't winning this game, right? Well, I'll tell you this. I couldn't believe what I was watching on my TV that night, because in the 61st minute, somehow Cape Verde scored again through Helio Varela, and they secured a massive point again. It was there and then when I realized these guys were the new underdogs for the World Cup. In their final group stage match against Saudi Arabia, Cape Verde had it all in their hands. All they needed was one more point to qualify, and in the match against Saudi Arabia, they did just that, as the game ended as a 0-0 draw, which finally meant that Cape Verde, a nation who played in their first ever World Cup, had 3 matches, 3 draws, 3 points, and most importantly, they qualified for the World Cup round of 32 unbeaten. It's stories like this one that makes us love this sport even more. Football is for everybody. No matter the chances, there will always be teams that defy the odds. Teams that are small but end up making the biggest of headlines. It's funny sometimes how powerful an underdog story in football really is. I mean, before the World Cup started, no one cared about Cape Verde. I bet that you, just like me, didn't even know about them. And now, all of a sudden, it seems like they are one of the most important teams in this tournament. Neutral fans cheer for them. They are everywhere on the news. People all around the world love Cape Verde, and it's because fairy tales like these feel close to us. Players who don't have millions both in followers and money. They feel like what we could have been one day. Professional footballers with only a dream to chase and a ball at our feet. And when they go against everyone and prove the world wrong, it makes us feel like everything is actually possible. They aren't superstars or Ballon d'Or winners. They are just some lads trying to make their country proud. And just as I'm writing this, Germany got eliminated by Paraguay. That match proved once again that odds don't even matter. No one can predict matches when players give their everything. This makes me think a lot about Cape Verde's match against Argentina. Now, this video is made before the Argentina game, so I don't know yet if Cape Verde advanced or not, but what I know for sure is that they shocked the world already, and most importantly, they made all of us believe that no matter how late, our dreams are worth chasing. After all, if you're not chasing your own dreams, who are you living for?